Hi, welcome to Sanskrit Grammar. My name is Rebekah Bhavani Crisp. Vakpurvata, Vaganantaram. Word before, word without pause. So today we're going to talk about how to write and read Sanskrit, and this is done in both transliteration and Devanagari. Just to note about the way this video is set up, we're going to be going through how to write each of these letters. So at any point you can pause the tape, take the time that you need to look at the letters, or just go through it very quickly. So the first thing to know about the Devanagari and the transliteration is that when we write transliteration, it's similar to writing in English in that we write the letters on the line. So we write the letter on the line. But in Devanagari, the letters actually dangle down from the top of a line. So that's the first distinction in the writing. And you can see each of these letters have this horizontal hat, I call it, not a technical term. And the features of the letter actually kind of dangle down from this horizontal hat. So, taking a look first at the short ah, we'll go step by step. First is this almost 3. Then, from the 3, we'll build a little bridge. And then the little bridge actually attaches to a vertical line. And the very last thing is the horizontal hat. And notice that the horizontal hat for the short does not cover the feature, the first feature. So the horizontal hat may not go completely across the top of the letter. So just take a moment if you need, pause, and practice. So moving right along, the long ah is essentially the same. So we'll build the long ah. The first steps for building the long ah is make your short ah. The only difference is we're going to add a second vertical line. So to make the long ah, first make your short ah and add an extra vertical line. You see here. So there actually is another way to make the letter ah that I've seen in different texts. I'd like to show that to you now. The letter looks like this, and we'll go through step by step. So first you make this feature, and I'm going to go ahead and close it up with that vertical line. The next is to make this feature, and this is typically done in one motion. So we go across and down. So this is arched a little, and this is a little straight diagonal. And then the next feature, so we go across and down. We come up into this corner and make a little diagonal down like this. And then of course the last feature is the horizontal hat. So this is another way to make the short ah. The long ah, guess what? Everything is the same. Add an extra vertical line. Okay, so moving right along, let's take a look at the E. And I do like to have these horizontal lines, even if they get wobbly. I recommend you go out if you're learning your letters and buy those first grade papers, remember, with the big thick lines and the dotted lines, and learn your letters on that. So, E. Alright, this is a pretty one. First we come down with a notch. Then from the notch we make this sweeping curl that ends with a loop. Very important that you include that loop. That's my puppy dog making a sound over there. So there's the loop. Last step is, of course, that horizontal hat. So here's the short E. Now for the long E, we make the short E, everything the same. The exception is that before we build this horizontal hat, we'll add a feature above the line. It's almost like a little hook. So when you see that little hook on top, you've got your long E. So on the way to making the short E, or the long E, first we make the short E. Okay, next we've got oo. Oo is almost like a letter 3, but kind of the top isn't complete. It doesn't come down and curve down like this, like the letter A. And then the last step, add your horizontal hat. Now, to make the long oo, again, it's exactly the same. First, we make the short oo, and then we add an extra feature. So you see the short oo with the extra feature, and then you add the horizontal hat. Here's my horizontal hat. Like that. Sound effects are optional. Of course, the sound is ooh. We go from oo to ooh. All right. Here we've had the guttural vowels, the palatal vowels, the labial vowels. Now let's move into 3 more pairs. First we have our retroflex r and ri. Probably the trickiest one to make, but just learn it and do it. So here we start on a vertical line, and the first way you can make this is add the feature that is on the left. So you can see here there's like a pair of lines on the left and a feature on the right. So the first way you can make this is by first putting the feature on the right and then make the feature on the left, like this. Of course, last thing is the horizontal hat. But it is possible to make this feature all the way across, and you'll find when you start doing this handwriting, you'll find your faster ways of making your letters. So first do this one and then add the one on the left, horizontal hat. So 2 different ways, or order of pen strokes to make this one. Okay, for the long r, I'm actually going to, whoops, throw my pen around. The little puppy dog wanted to eat the pen immediately. His name is Ananda Tickles. He helps me with all my Sanskrit practices. Keeps it light and happy. Okay, so now we'll do the long ri. This is at the retroflex part of the mouth. It is very similar to this. The difference is, and again you can make it 2 ways. When you come for the loop, you've actually got 2 little squiggles down, and they can be smaller than that 1 squiggle across. So that's what it looks like. So the other way is you can go all the way across and then come back and make your completed feature on the left. So the different steps for this. Okay, moving right along, we come to the palatal diphthongs, A and I. These letters look very similar. You remember the A is made by joining the short with the short E, and it makes the A sound. This letter looks like this. So you come down, add your horizontal hat. I is the diphthong made with long A and E. the letter E. And it essentially starts exactly the same. So there's my A. What I am going to add to it here is an additional line above the horizontal hat. And you may see this also kind of fancy. Could have a little notch on the end. So there's different ways to make it. O and ow. O and ow are both made from the long ah. So the first step, make your long ah. O is made by adding one feature above the line. The feature is attached to the furthest right upper corner, and it's one little line to the right, like this. And then of course we would add our horizontal hat. Ow is very similar. We make our long ah, and there are two ways. This is going to be, I mean, you can see here it's got the double antenna. You can either make it like this, drawing both down or both up, add your horizontal hat, or as you get a little faster, you might come down and then back up. You'll see it written both ways. The pen strokes will be the same. Okay? Good. So anytime we have vowels, of course, we can add the anusvara or the visarga. And there you just take a look at some examples. We'll do maybe a couple of examples here. Okay, so if I'm going to take my long oo, it looks like this. Here's my horizontal line. My O, let's see, we make the long ah and we add one little line. Give it the horizontal hat that doesn't cover the first part of the letter. The letter A comes down, horizontal hat. All right, so suppose I want to turn this into uhu with the visarga. I'm going to add two little dots to the right of the letter, and the important detail is that, you know, these dots are not underneath the horizontal hat. So don't extend your hat over the dots. Simple. If I want to look at my om, it's as simple as adding a dot over the letter, like this. Typically that dot is to the right. Here's Ananda. Ananda, you want to help us with our letters? He wants my attention. So here, if we want to do, we wouldn't have both together, by the way. You wouldn't have both the visarga and the anusvara. Let's go ahead and add the anusvara. Typically, you'll see the letter here or here, the dot here or here. You'll see it in either place. Okay. And also another note, some fonts in the transliteration put the dot under the M. You won't see this dot move down. It's always going to be above the horizontal hat. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me for the Sanskrit vowels. Vak Purvata Vaganantaram. This is Rebekah Bhavani Crisp. Join me and join Ben at epicsanskrit.com. Thanks for your time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.